Hi, my name is Kevin Moran. I own a 2015 Chevy Cruze. I had a very unusual thing occur at 1 o'clock in the morning. I was working at my mother's house, went out to start my car, and every idiot light on the panel turned on. The radio and the whole screen was flickering. The lights were flickering and my power steering was completely gone. Well, I have a 2015 Chevy Cruze, and the GM has a service bulletin called 14311B, and in that is and goes through the whole thing explaining what the problem with the vehicle is, and that they will repair it for no cost. And there's a couple of situations where the bulletin, it's almost like I don't know where to start. I started with the actual physical occurrence of what had gone wrong was very surprising. It's when I left my mother's house, who passed away recently, so I was at her place cleaning the house up, and then when I went out to start the vehicle, I turned the ignition on and many lights engaged. All the idiot lights came on, and including the power steering. I had no power steering, so I couldn't move the vehicle. So I figured some belts or something went wrong, so I turned it off, popped the hood, got a flashlight. This was like 1 in the morning, and there was no fluids, no belts, no nothing. The engine would run, but none of the electronic components would work. So I turned it off, went in. I had a computer at my mother's house because I needed it, so I had a laptop over there. And I found this bulletin stating exactly all the things that were occurring was a result of this malfunction in the negative ground cable to the battery. And that this special coverage would cover that correction for free. And they'd give me a loaner car. And when I went and talked with, well, first what I did was I talked with Tapper, which is a local Chevrolet dealer, and they said they'd never heard of such thing, which I don't believe, and gave me a 1-800 number to call, and that entailed a 240-minute conversation of going around the globe, talking to different people, asking them how to get this service bulletin to be utilized for the fix as promised by GM. And the final, after 240 minutes, I finally got somebody named G out of, I don't even know where she's from, but she said she would get me on the phone as a three-way call with Tapper, my local dealer. And under my suggestion that we do that, she just said, well, call Tapper and tell him I told you it was okay. And I said, no, let's keep you on the line. You call Tapper, and then we'll have a three-way, and you can explain to them the situation. So I'm on hold, and all of a sudden, Tapper comes on the line, and it's a gentleman by the name of Zach, who is very courteous, very professional, and he's from the local dealer. And I said, where's G? And he goes, she hung up. My manager's not here, and she just hung up and said you were on hold. I go, do you have any idea what's going on? And he said, no. So I just wasted 240 minutes of very frustrating conversations with General Motors. And they said, well, come on in, give us what you've got, and we'll go from there. And during this whole conversation, there's a key critical part here that says in the actual letter itself, the service bulletin, mine just states that if your vehicle is providing what they've done is they've extended the time of the guarantee for this particular situation for 10 years or 120,000 miles. And the letter states, do not take your vehicle to a GM dealer unless you have these conditions that exist. So it's a special bulletin. If your car isn't doing it, don't go to the dealer because we're not going to fix it. But if your car is doing it, then take it to the dealer. We'll fix it. We'll give you a loaner. And they kept telling me over the phone, give me your last 7 digits of your VIN number. And the last 7 digits of your VIN number basically state where the vehicle was made, and then the last 6 are the serial number. And through this new management, it's called Global Warranty Management System, and nobody knows how the parameters under which they have determined you qualify for the service or not. They said because of the last 7 digits, it's coming back negative, I don't qualify. Well, what has happened is there's 2 different paragraphs in different types of special bulletins. One of them, which I pulled up, has a paragraph in it called, this is my page 11 here. It just says, General Motors is providing owners with additional protection, blah, blah, blah. If the condition occurs, we will replace, fix, and handle everything. And there's nothing in here that states that it's possible that my car doesn't work. What they're saying is your car qualifies if you're having the symptoms. Then under other special coverage documents, they actually have a paragraph that's called, here we go, vehicles involved. All vehicles are identified by a vehicle identification number and applicable warranties mentioned in the GM Global Warranty Management System, which is what the dealership has to plug in. Well, under this particular special bulletin, with that in there, they could deny based on, for whatever reason, because they put the numbers in and it said, no, you don't qualify. Well, my service bulletin doesn't have that paragraph. It's just very clear and concise, states that they will pay if I'm having these problems. So it's a conflict with the dealership, and GM is in cahoots with saying that you must qualify under this GWM, Global Warranty Management Services System. And if you don't, then if you come back negative, there's nothing we can do about it. Well, that's not, and they won't let you explain that I don't have that out for them in my contract. They don't have a way out of this. They're basically saying they came up with a special bulletin. They've recognized that this is an issue. If you go on the websites, there's hundreds and hundreds of people, Cruze Talk, and there's other places that you can go to where they're blogging all over this. And the problem also is the fix. They want to charge you $415 to fix it if you don't qualify. Well, the negative cable costs $20, and the current sensor costs $18, and my local guy will do it for $80, the whole job. I can do it for myself, just the parts, watch a YouTube video, make sure I'm installing it in properly. So I can do it for $40 roughly. They're going to charge $415, and people have decided that on a small scale, just me against GM, it's not worth my time and energy. So GM is making out like a bandit. If you do any kind of math at all and figure, what I've got here is they've made almost 1 million Chevy Cruzes. And that's a very small percent of those, 2%, have this issue. And that would be, and with administrative costs and the fix itself and all that, it probably cost them about $1,000 for a warranty job, I'm figuring, for something like this. Or I don't care what number you use, it's going to add up to a lot. And I come up with about just under $20 million. And that's only if 2% of the vehicles sold have this issue. I have no idea. I can't get any statistics indicating how many people have made this claim, how many people have been denied. That's all proprietary information, and you can't access it that I'm aware of. So GM has decided that we're going to just screw everybody, even though we promised them this, and act as if they have that clause in their contract that what I read there, vehicles involved. I don't have a vehicles involved. It just says if your vehicle is experiencing these symptoms, we will fix it and we'll give you a loaner. So everything's going to be taken care of. Well, that's not what happens. And they give you the runaround, and then at the bottom of my particular, the 14311B, there's a 1-800 number there that you can call if you're not being satisfied. And I called that number and got a hold of a gentleman who basically reads from a script. You can tell he's reading it, and he's telling me that there's nothing that they can do. This conversation will soon be terminated. And if I have any problems, I should call 1-866. And that's all I got, because I didn't have a pen in my hand. And I'm asking him, wait, slow down. Give me that number again. And he wouldn't stop reading his script. And he says, I am now authorized to disconnect this conversation. I said, I need that phone number. And I'm begging him for the phone number, and he just disconnects me. So it's a concerted effort to stop people like myself from fighting for themselves to get this situation fixed. And it turns into a benefit cost analysis on my part. Is it worth it to fight GM? Probably not. I've had to do it before with a manifold issue, and there's a couple other things that went wrong that were guaranteed that they refused to fix, but I ended up getting the Michigan Attorney General involved, and it was a 6-month process, but I did get paid. That was basically the same thing as this, but that was like $800, so it was worth it to me to fight it a little harder. Well, this, I can go outside tomorrow and have this all fixed for $30 probably, if it wasn't so cold out, because I don't have a warm place to work on my vehicle. So GM is picking on the individual because we're not united and can't get united and stand, if they had 20,000 people knocking on their door as a solid front of complainers, of people who have been wronged by this bulletin, by them not going and pursuing and fulfilling their promises. Well, GM, my last conversation with GM was the individual called Roy was his name, who was reading the script and hung up on me and wouldn't even give me the phone number he gave me once. That was my end of my conversations with General Motors. Tapper is, I think I don't blame them at all. They're just following what General Motors has told them that they must do. And I also did a little further research in what the local dealership has to go through to get their money back for these warranty claims. It's worse than traversing Congress. It is so much red tape and so difficult. They have to actually go to not Chevrolet. Chevrolet will make them go to the people who made that part to get refunded. And it's just it's pages and pages. It's like 120 pages of what you must do. Fill in this, click here, then this goes down, and a box opens up. You fill this in, and it decides which way to go. And I would go out of my mind if I were a dealership and had to do that for every warranty or service bulletin I had to do. Now, they did not complain, and they were willing to do all that. It's just GM said, I don't qualify, so their hands were tied. Well, I could be greedy and just say, and selfish and say, you should comply with what you promised in the special bulletin with everybody, not just Kevin. But they're not going to do that. I don't know. If I had a magic wand, I'd like to see everybody that's ever had this problem somehow notified that if we stick together, we can force them to do it. I don't know if it'd be a class action suit or what, but in a way with murder, I just want my vehicle fixed, and it's to the point where, I can just do it myself, and I'd be done with this whole thing. I've spent more money, not any money, more time, energy, resources, and investigation into this entire process, hours and hours. And if I had just gone to Amazon and bought the GM parts site and bought the cable and the current sensor, I would have waited in the mail for 3 days, and I would have spent an hour on the vehicle, and it would all be fixed. So I'm really just mad at GM because they took advantage of me before, and I had to fight. Like I said, I had to get the Attorney General and the state of Michigan involved, and they did concede, which means they made it as if they're just doing me a favor, that they really didn't have to do it, but here's a check. And I'm like, no way. You're paying because you have to. Otherwise, you wouldn't be paying. But they're saying it that way so they don't have to pay anybody else automatically.